Well, hello again friends, and welcome to what hasn't happened for quite a while, another live stream. Thanks for joining. If you are watching, as always, please say hi in chat if you are. Here we are, sat on stand 25 at Aldergrove. A little bit murky, but certainly not as bad as the London TMA where we are headed. This airtime is a little over an hour today. This is the first flight I've done in a good few weeks, so I'm going to be quite rusty. I did do a trip there the other day just to try and help somebody out in the forums. I recorded that rather than streaming it, just to save on distractions and everything else. Sorry for the delay in getting started. For some reason it just seemed to take quite a long time to load the aircraft up, but we're here now. I have turned my scenery density up a little bit. That doesn't seem to have impacted massively on frame rate, so I'm going to see how we get on today. And I think the description is wrong. I've updated to X-Europe 5.3, so we'll see if we get the stutters that we did before, and also running the latest X-Plane beta, which I don't think is going to have any sort of show-stopping changes like the earlier ones, so I don't think it's worth holding off for the final release. Can't imagine that they're going to majorly break things, but I have been wrong before. Hopefully we don't get any crash desktops or anything like that. So without further ado, I've got projectFLY running, and I've got Pegasus, which is the new VAMSIS client. It's the new client for virtual Ryanair, who we are flying for today. Active Sky as always. I think that's pretty much it. Scottish is online, there's nobody else. A little weather redraw, the weather seems to be getting better. We have no ATIS. Shannon, Scottish are online. London has gone offline sadly, so we might not have ATC all the way down. So it's a long arrival. The star into. Let me jump in the cockpit and I'll show you. The star into Stansted starts pretty much over Manchester, so Laurel 5 Foxtrot. There you go, so we're going via LISTO. Zoom that in so you guys can see, and you see there's a 30-mile leg, another 30-mile leg, 20-mile leg, down to Clippy, and then turning in. So Clippy is actually, I think it's pretty much near Westcott. Just looking at where, oh no, maybe I'm telling a lie. Look at where Oxford and Cranfield are. Daventry's a lot further away than that. No, Westcott's probably down here somewhere. Anyway, then it takes us over into Laurel, and that is a very similar arrival. Some of the others that are shared into Luton. Stansted takes us to Laurel via Bombo. That's another join from some of the other arrivals. And then depending on the runway, we'll either be down this way or out this way. So anyway, let's get the airplane checked out. As always, like I say, it's not a full-on full cold and dark setup with all the tests and everything, because we are in the sim and I do have failures off, although I think at some point I might start turning those on. Got strobe and steady set to steady, ready for AC power, so battery can come on, emergency exit lights can come on. Ground power is available because we are at the gate. If it wasn't illuminated, then all you've got to do is come over here, oh, wrong one, go to ground services and connect to the GPU. That's saying GPU connect. Push it. So we'll apply AC power. Get the lights on. Get the irises aligning. Take 9 minutes because we are that bit further north. There we are, both on a line. Light controls, low pressure because the hydraulics are off. Fuel damper can come on. All set to normal auto. Fuel temp should be the same as outside temp, about 9-10 degrees. Test the cross feed valve, bright, dim, close, right off. Leave all the pumps off for the moment, although we will start one of those before we start the APU. Ground power is on, cabin UCL IFE on, voltmeter, ammeter don't really need to look at unless we're trying to troubleshoot something. Lights as you like, grip cooling to normal, emergency lights are on, we're going to be refueling so I'm going to leave the belts off, wipers are parked. First start of the day, igniter's right. Diff pressure is 0, so the cabin is the same as outside, and the cabin altitude is clearly below 1,000 feet, and the elevation at Aldergrove is 281, so I think you can just about see the indicator in there, which you can't normally, but if we were somewhere in the States that was quite high, maybe 5,000 feet, so with like Tahoe 5,000, you would see the cabin out there. The front door and the cargo doors are open. Pop the electric hydraulic pumps on, of course the engines are off, so those won't be on. Probes can stay off, test the window heats. Come on, all the lights can come on. Set trim air on, AC as we like. Packs can go to auto, isolation valve is open. EPU bleed can stay off for the moment. Let's have a look at the OFP. Planned optimum flight level, the dispatch remarks are what I put in a little spreadsheet to keep track of those and just to roughly work out the payload. 330 is our cruise to date. And standard is 350. It's the upper overhead done, nice and easy. Brake to RTO, disarm, we'll sort the MCP out in a moment. That was from me accidentally selecting attitude, so we can get rid of that hydraulic pressure we have. Turn the panel lights up. So, odd number because we haven't been cleared. So we set our nav aids, we'll decide what we want for those, otherwise they're a bit distracting. Nothing else to do. Of course the engine cutouts are off. Like I said, no fire tests or anything in streams. Feel free to do them if you want. Panel light can go to bright, so we can see these. VHF on each. I'm told this should work on X-Pilot now, so we'll see if it does. And that's essentially it. So we have got the chock set, and the parking brake should not be set, so I'm going to recycle that. It's just a lock to keep pressure in the brakes, so that will fade over time even though it's on, so turn it off, pop it back on again, even though we are still chocked. So payload wise, let's go back to page 1. We have got 143 packs. 143. That blue button for P for packs. Enter. Stuffs them all over the aeroplane pretty evenly. And we've got to 650. So I have a feeling Ryanair and most of the low-cost carriers will like to have a more aft CFG throughout flight to reduce the need to have the aeroplane trimming, so it's in a more neutral stance, and that just saves fuel. So I think if we put 1650 in the rear hold, a ton up the front, that gives us a zero fuel takeoff 4.7. The fuel will probably bring that aft a little bit, we'll see. It's not right at the rear limit, but more further aft, the more fuel you save. So, fuel wise, our block fuel there, I've got 15 minutes additional. Our alternate is Manchester, which is 40 minutes away, so we've got an additional hour and 55 minutes of fuel to play with, even if we commit to another London airport to divert to. That's just based on weather. Have a look at the forecast in a minute. 5691. As block, we'll request that, and it doesn't matter if it's a little bit over or a little bit under. Pull the fuel truck. I'll leave that page there, so we're not done yet. Actually, start the flight leg. And we'll see what we get as we fuel up. Now the video panel is not working. And I've forgotten which USB I've got it plugged into, so you'll hear me unplugging it in a moment. Well done me, I figured out which one it was. I'm not sure why that is. The Saitek stuff is pretty junky, but having a radio panel is really useful for online. Scottish is 13552, and you can see that you can just do that using that panel, which saves coming down here and looking at it when you're in the middle of important flying stuff. So, we're probably not going to be speaking to anybody else. And I'm just scribbling down where we are so I can copy down our clearance. Let's get the weather. So 1250.
Foxtrot Golf Hotel starts approved. Taxi. Are you able to accept Charlie 1 for departure?
And then there was silence.
Golf Hotel, AFM, just confirming you're able to depart from wire longer.
Okay, so that does seem to work. Maybe not the full range, but it's at least we can.
Ooh, I can try standby.
That doesn't work, but at least you can turn those down. So that's pretty useful. The IRSs have aligned, so we'll do that in a moment. So 0806. 10k scattered at 1300 feet, temperature of 8, dew point of 6, QNH 1019.
Go Foxtrot Golf Hotel, roger, taxi Charlie 1 holding point, runway 23, report ready for departure.
So I'm just going to turn it off for the moment. Nav date is current. 26k engines we have, that should be WL for winglets, but whatever. We are at Echo Golf Alpha Alpha, stand 25. GPS left can come in here. And there we go. Moving up. We are off to Echo Golf Sierra Sierra. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, call sign that not many use, so shouldn't be anyone. Any call sign. Well, there might be some similarity, but at least we don't have the issue of somebody nicking the call sign. Our route is here, Lisbo, RINGA, Quebec 39. So what I will do is I will pop this in manually, just if you haven't seen it before. So first waypoint, we don't put any of that in, we don't put the SIDS or stars in at this point, we just go to our first waypoint, which you can highlight if you want. So Lisbo, and we're going, and if there's more than one, it will ask. Now if they were close, you'd have to check. West 006 sounds about right. North 54, 55 also sounds about right for the UK. You know, that's a lot further away and a lot further out. That's in the wrong hemisphere. So pretty confident, and what you can do on the OFP is check. So if we go to the legs page on here, there's LISBO with the lat long, and that is the correct one. So that's how you can check. It will give you the closest in position one. They're ordered by distance. Then RINGA. And that's direct as well. And then we're going Quebec 39, so you can put Quebec 39, and now it knows we're going along this airway. It just needs to know the entry point. So RINGA is our entry point to Quebec 39. NOMSU is our exit from that airway. And then Upper Quebec 4, it knows to LISTO, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Of course, you can import it if it's a lot longer, and it just saves you typing all of those out. I'm going to activate that route and check on the prog page the distance. 344. Okay, well, it's a straight line, but order of magnitude it is about correct, because of course we've got an arrival to add to that. But an order of magnitude correct. Zero fuel weight. 58.2, a little bit heavier than we thought. That's interesting. About 1100 heavier. Double check the old payload. $2650. 2650. 143 packs. Okay, whatever. Could happen. And 5691 we've requested and we've got. So, fueling's finished. Pop the belts on. So that's not the end of the world as long as it's below that max. That will increase our fuel burn a little bit, and there's some adjustments you can make for that, but it's going to be negligible for that slight addition, and we've got the additional 15 minutes anyway. So, 58.2, our planned fuel is 2.7, and the reserves 2595, round up to 2.6, round up again to 2.7. Cost index with Ryanair is always 6, I think they sometimes do use 30 if they need to make up time. And as you can see, trip is listed as 286, but 330. Topical line wind 324, so 13, a little bit of a tailwind. ISO deviation +2, no need to put the P or the M or the plus or the minus. You can enter that, and that is done so far. I don't think we're going to get anything different for the arrival, so I'm going to pop that in. Laurel 5 Foxtrots, and you can use that for both runways, so I can't see any reason why we wouldn't get that, although we would be cleared by London. Using reserve fuel, that's just a transient message, because we're not, you can see there on the arrival 3.5, so I think it just needs a pause in the code before it works that out. Always check though, so if the expected fuel at destination is less than 2 point, whatever we've put in, 2.7, yeah, 2.6, 2.7, then you should get that message, but it isn't, so make sure you double check. So that's going to be our next page. We need to do the takeoff performance. Before then, we'll call up and get our clearance. That'll give us our runway and our departure. 1019. It's all set. So shock set, we do need a push from this one.
JX 4042, Scottish Control, good afternoon, Roger.
Roger. So, airport briefing. Any noise abatement, departure, anything like that? No. See. Noise abatement for continuous descent. Nothing to worry about there. So, I'll get those charts up. Omnidirectional departures here. So, I'll have a look at that chart in a minute. Scottish, good afternoon. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
7 Delta X-ray, Scottish Control, good afternoon, Pash Miss.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray 737-800 on the ground, stand 25 at Aldergrove. QNH 1019, request departure clearance to standstill, please.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, cleared to London Stansted. Via Quebec 39 Airway, runway 07, initial climb of 5,000 feet, squawk 3460.
Place London standstill via Quebec 39 at runway 07, initial altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 3460, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, correct.
Magic. So, set that to 5. It's runway 07, so let's have a look at the
Walker 339, welcome to Edinburgh taxi line Alpha Beam, stand 22.
Runway heading 068. Let's get the chart up so you guys can see.
Foxtrot Golf Hotel, runway 23, clear for takeoff, service winds variable at 3 knots.
So, I'm looking at that one. I'm looking at that one. And I'm having a look at this one. So, here we are, stand 25.
3895, Scottish Control, good afternoon, squawk 3511, IDEN.
We'll push back and then do that all the way out, and we'll probably do the performance calculation from intersection Delta 1. Got the performance available, which we have there, so that's Delta, listed as Delta 07.
95, thanks, redirect Glasgow, Golf Oscar Whiskey.
So we're losing, what's that, like about 130 metres. If we really needed that, then we would go to the end.
Easy 165, Lima, descend 3,000 feet.
Turn. So that's one thing to bear in mind, and with apps off we just put in the Tora available, takeoff run available. Our departure is going to be from the Belfast VOR, and we are going via Quebec 39er, which doesn't quite use the Isle of Man VOR, so it's looking like an on-nav overlay at that point. So all we need is confirmation of that point. Note 1. Unable to comply with above 4, well he's given us 5, and we should be able to do that. Of course you'd have to check the performance, but it's going to be a straight ahead and then a turn.
192, Scottish Control, good afternoon, squawk IDEN.
So terrain clearance is down to us. We need to get, doesn't seem to be anything major within immediate aerodrome environment, so we should be able to get above MSA pretty quick with nothing in between. 154, what we need to intercept, and the Belfast VOR is 172. You could use 1172 this side and have the ILS for the runway that you've departed on this one in case you need to come back. That's more than sensible in case you had a problem. We're going to be a little bit getting pushed, but not to worry. We've got about 15 minutes to taxi, so we'll probably make some time up there. So 154 VOR set, and it's picking it up because it's right here.
176, because they were pushed back to set up approved.
So, onto AppSoft to...
Easy 165, Lima, turn left, heading 270 degrees to establish on the low class of runway 24, once established, descend to glide.
Onto AppSoft on my other screen. So, runway 07. We are going to be using 2654 meters. 26899. I don't think we are going to be 26899. 289. We are a ton heavier than that, so that is well worth checking. Otherwise the performance would have been quite spectacularly wrong. 10190808 is what NOAA is giving us.
Okay.
And getting 22k, 34. So runway 07 via Delta, runway's dry. We flap 5, 22k. Estimating 63.8, I'd rather overestimate.
Golf Hotel Squawk ident, report your passing altitude.
And the assumed temp is 34. That gives us a takeoff run of 2172 and 482 meters stop margin.
Hotel, thanks. Climb flight level 80.
1300 is flap.
Pirate 21, Scottish Control, good afternoon, Squawk 3626.
That's a good call sign. Let me have a look on the radar, see where that is. Oh no, these guys appear to have made it up. PIR-AT. Pair of Hawks.
Pirate 22, Scottish Control, good afternoon, Squawk 3624.
Anyway, 3-4, the textures on here looking a bit rubbish.
Overhead Robbo, leaving controlled airspace, do you require a service outside?
Point 2, yes, that's close enough. So, take off flap 5.
Foxtrot Golf Hotel, overhead Robbo, you'll be leaving controlled airspace. Do you require a service
8.
outside?
Pop in just so you can see. I have a thrust reduction, which will actually be a thrust increase, 1500.
Foxtrot Golf Hotel, roger, overhead Robbo, it'll be a traffic service.
And I'm going to have the acceleration at 1500 as well. We should have completed the turn by then. There's no restriction on what we can and can't do here.
Runway 24, clear land surface wind 050 degrees 5 knots.
And that's counterintuitive because we'll be going climb 2, but we'll be derated, so that will probably be a thrust increase. So trim 525. He sounds reasonable. And my calculator is giving me 139, 139, 143.
Lima taxi off, approach taxi Golf 1, holding point, runway 05.
And we'll take that.
Pirate 21, requesting a service outside control airspace.
So flight directors are on. It's 07.
Pirate 21, roger.
And what I'm going to do is pop a custom waypoint in. Let's see if we can do that with runway 07. The runway heading off of the chart is 068. And I think we'll go for something like 2 miles. Although I may have made an absolute disaster there. Okay, yeah, that custom waypoint does not work. As you can see, 4449 away. So I'll just take it off the Belfast VOR. Because the VOR, I think, is just to the north of the field. So let's go 069, 2 miles, 72. Oh no, that's terrible.
Control, Tomcat 134, flight level 320 and Nelson.
This would just give us a little bit of additional guidance. Let's not bother. Just a heading and then reroute direct to LISBO.
28 Charlie Tango, a bit better. Tom, Jet 134, Scottish Control, good afternoon. Input 1 Echo, arrival landing, runway 24. When ready, descend flight level 200, level in rev. Impact 1 Echo, arrival for 4, descend to 200, level by Imp 44.
You'll get there. So, nothing else to do for the departure. Departures to... and there's nothing there saying that we can't Quebec 39, radio 154, so straight after departure. Above about 500 foot we'll start our turn. Crack on. So, let's get punters sat down.
Easy 1, 2 Victor Lima, runway 05, good takeoff service with 3 and 4
And let's start getting the airplane secured.
Easy 165 Lima, welcome to Edinburgh, taxi by Alpha Echo stand 7.
So I think it's pretty fair to say you will definitely be going back like this.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Get the APU started. Which I can do because I've got that mapped to a switch. Here's our mate with the tug.
Golf Hotel. Yes, just confirm the position altitude, please.
That should be on the chart.
Transition altitude will be 6,500 feet. Transition flight level will be 75.
Interesting. So,
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed.
there's the
Ready
APU
to connect.
stabilising. Should give it a minute, but we'll get it on the bus and the bleed on. Get both pumps on. One thing I did do was set the squawk 3. Or 60. 5,000. Everything's set there. There's the airplane being lifted up.
Victor Lima, thanks. Squawk ident to climb now. Flight level.
And of course you can
So
run through
connected and bypass
all of
turn
these.
inserted. Release parking brake.
So we are ready to push. Rhino 7 Delta X-ray stand 25 Aldergrove, request push and start.
Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, pushback and start approved.
Push start approved, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray. So with that we can pop the transponder on, work our way up. APU is on, put the beacon on, to be told we are good to go.
Easy 1, 2 Victor Lima, continuing to left turn, redirecting across Bell Channel here.
So 5.7 we've got, the door is shut. We have been cleared. Let's have a good look. Don't think anybody's hit.
Starting pushback and you may start engines.
R228, clear to enter controlled airspace, flight level 120 on track, direct Melon. R21, thanks, clear to enter controlled airspace, flight level 110 on track, Melbourne.
So it's a little bit of a long push. We don't have to start the engine straight away. Quite happily run on the APU.
Roll cleared London Gatwick. Fire and Gussie.
So let's get number 2 started.
Runway 23 after departure, turn left direct Gussie. Climb flight level 120. Squawk 6476. Charlie Tango, correct, QNH 1021, pushback status approved, call me short of, correction, call me at Alpha 1, holding point runway 23.
What we'll do is actually just put in that radial, because that's what we want to intercept.
Operation complete. Set parking brake. Disconnecting toes. Stand by.
Irrelevant. So we can start engine number 1.
Hotel November Alpha, Scottish Control, good afternoon, cleared, Dublin, Gosman 1 Charlie, departure, squawk 4625.
Tow is disconnected. A bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
There we go, 2 stable engines, 2, 4, 6 and 3.
Drive 963.
Just wait to see the pin.
Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
And we'll run through the before taxi flow. There it is.
Easy 8492, London offline, Unicom 122.8, bye-bye.
So set takeoff flap, flap 5. You would blank this, but in the sim I like to have it up because I have had it where the controls have not responded on takeoff before, despite checking them. So full forward, full aft, full left, right, rudder, full right rudder. In reality you'd be checking for no restrictions.
7442, Scottish Control, good afternoon. Squawk 7255.
Trim set. Calls checked. Generators on.
Top Jet 134, descend flight level
View
80
off.
in rev.
Start switches continuous.
Sorry.
Anti-ice not required initially.
Sorry, good there.
Probes are on.
80 level by where? Tartan.
Pax auto.
Level by Tartan. Top Jet 134.
Leads. Isolation valve. Auto. Flap 5 required. 5 set. Green light. Structure 525 required. 525 set. Start levers 2 idle detent. Flight controls checked, recalls checked, we are ready to taxi. Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, request taxi.
Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, taxi Delta 1, holding point, runway 07, cross runway 16.
Taxi, holding point Delta 1, runway 07, cross runway 16, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray. So we have been cleared.
17.
Roger 17, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray. Close enough. So we are clear to the left, clear to the right. Brakes off, configs checked. A little bit of power to get us moving because it is slightly uphill.
Stage control, good morning, Jersey 98, flight level 160.
So you don't really want to use more than 35% in reality.
Jersey 98, Stage control, good afternoon, Tunso 1 Echo arrival, landing runway 24.
So let's get weather,
Tampa,
terrain,
runway 24 for Jersey 98.
the throttle armed. Nothing to the left, nothing to the right. We will...
Hotel November Alpha, you have to accept.
Oh no, we can't arm our nav because we've got nothing here, so we'll be heading for takeoff manual as well.
Hotel November Alpha, thanks. Taxi 5 Mike Lima Charlie.
Okay, you can see the terrain out to the right. So we've been cleared to cross. What's that? Whoops. Well, that shouldn't be there.
Golf Bravo Zulu Lima Hotel Scotia Control, good afternoon, Squawk 0744.
Missed it.
Skywest 1254, Scotia Control, readability 5.
So that's idle, we must be down here.
1254,
Oh.
cleared.
Approaching.
Bit of a lick on.
Juliet departure, runway 05, Squawk 6472.
Might as well get the cabin secured. Holding points down here.
Skywest 1254, correct. Glasgow QNH 1021.
So 143,
Cabin is secured.
3,
Flight.
5, 5,
Top Jet 134, redirect task.
525, 525.
Redirect task, Top Jet 134.
Cabin is secure. Just the lights and the transponder. Here is our holding point. Right, SF Delta X-ray ready for departure.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray assigned, runway heading, runway 07, clear for takeoff, surface winds 080 degrees, 8 knots.
Runway heading, clear takeoff 07, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. So, probably give us a turn as we're airborne. No traffic seen. Of course you would check in reality, of course, by looking out the window.
Approaching 07.
So it's going to be 30:49. I'll set the timer this time. Do a rolling takeoff. So that is the most efficient.
Channing Taxi 01, Scottish Control, G'day, Squawk 32, approaching 3420.
On runway 07.
We are correct runway. Power. Toga. Time.
Channing 474.
Forward pressure on the controls. Rudder is needed to keep the airplane straight. It's coming ever so slightly from the right, so left rudder to keep the airplane straight. 80 knots. Checked.
Golf Lima Hotel, confirmed Squawk 0744.
E1.
And off the throttle.
Positive rate.
Gear up.
Channing 4042.
Onto the flight directors.
Flight of 230, level 10 lead.
400.
Heading select. Let's go command 8.
Next 4042 Scottish.
Yeah, sending flight number 237.
1000.
So above minimum flap.
Pirate 2-1, leaving controlled airspace, basic service.
And we accelerate. 2+20. Come on, aeroplane, accelerate. There we go. Flap 1.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, report your passing altitude, squawk code in.
I'll see 2,400, climbing 5,000, and ident Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray. Passing flap 1, flap up.
And all stations stand by, just having conference hearing pilots, so I'll be back in 2 seconds.
So there we are, water brake off, flap up, no lights, gear up and off. I'm going to keep 210 for the moment, and we'll bring vertical speed into play.
Thousand to go.
Diff pressure is increasing, so the airplane is pressurizing. Course checked after the takeoff, complete. We want a right turn at some point. And we're going to need anti-ice for the cloud.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, ready and check.
Readability 5, 7 Delta X-ray.
Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, still not hearing anyone. If you hear me, squawk code in.
Scorecard in, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Interesting. Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, resume navigation, direct in-cob, climb flight level 290.
Direct in-cob, climb 290, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray.
Coast control, sorry, did you call me?
So there we go.
Turn left, heading, correction, turn right, heading
290.
descend altitude 4,000 feet, QNH 1021.
In-cob, message off the FO. On nav.
And all stations be advised,
Right.
at this stage I'm unable to hear anyone, presuming it's an AMV issue. Just follow as advised, any questions, put them in text.
Anyway, let's have a look at sunny Belfast. Or have we gone past him? Oh, there he is. Alright, you can definitely see the docks.
Skyways 1254, push back and
Climbing to a flight level. Now VNav.
And all stations currently comes back. Hotel November Alpha, runway 24 cleared for takeoff service with 070 degrees 5 knots. Runway 24 cleared for takeoff. Tomjet 134 confirmed right heading 010 degrees, descend to 4,000 feet.
So 29 is not our final cruise.
Crash, just visual comms to come back. I think the two are linked. Hopefully not, okay. Yeah, no worries. I'll do a disconnect anyway because I'm the same there. So have a good evening. Tomjet 134. Clear 210. Channel 801, squawk 3420.
So passing 10. There we go, airplane's bugged up.
3420.
Lights off, all pumps on. Diffs 4.2, cabins climbing steadily. Final cruise is set, not cleared. Oh, bumps. We can let the packs out.
Easy 28 Charlie Tango advance to Alpha 1 holding point.
So Belfast City out to our right. That's Holyrood. Assembly.
Unicorn 122 definitely, thanks for the control for pair 2 up there. Easy 12 Victor Lima London offline, Unicorn 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
Unicorn 122 decimal 8 for Unicorn 2 Victor Lima, thanks for service.
Easy 235, Whiskey Scottish Control, good afternoon, Squawk 3612.
Walking 36110, easy 235, Whiskey.
Airwork 422, Copenhagen offline, Unicorn 122 decimal 8, bye-bye.
122 decimal 8 for that, 412, thanks for help, bye-bye.
Traffic 001, Reiki 5, Squawk 3420.
Cargo 661
Yeah, two stations there together, Cargo Lux 6614, cleared to Luxembourg, sub B1 Lima, departure, runway 12, Squawk 6375.
Okay, we're clear Luxembourg, sub D1 Lima, departure 12, Squawk 6375, Cargo 6614.
Cargo Lux 6614, correct, Brunswick QNH 1021.
1021, Cargo 6614.
Hotel November Alpha Squawk, ident complete marking attitude. Hotel November Alpha, altitude 6000 feet. Hotel November Alpha, thanks, climb now, flight level 220, redirect Gerber, Golf India, Romeo Victor Alpha. Climb flight level 220, direct Gerber, Hotel November Alpha. Easy 235, Whiskey, Impip 1 Echo, arrival landing runway 24, when ready, descent flight level 200, level by in rev.
So the arrival QNH 1019, set up before top of climb. Gross error check.
Easy 235, confirm when ready,
Still
flight
set.
level 00, level 8 in rev. Flight level 200 at in rev. Easy 235, Whiskey.
Crash cars, Cargo 66, Cargo 66, Squash Control, speedbird 8857, repeat help clearance and cover.
3 at once.
Yeah, 3 stations, Esco 1254, taxi Golf 1, holding point, runway 05.
Taxi Golf 1, holding point, runway 05.
So approaching 200, another 10 check.
6614, taxi Juliet, holding point, runway 12.
Yeah, very good, pushing stop.
So 4 pumps, diff 6.5, cabins at 3, steadily climbing. Checking the life support. So we think it's going to be runway 04.
Scottish Control, speedbird 8857, looking to be correct clearance to Dublin.
Speedbird 8857, Scottish Control, hello, cleared, Dublin, Gosman 1 Charlie, departure, runway 24, squawk 2167.
Cleared to Dublin by Gosman 1 Charlie, runway 24, squawk 2162, was it? Speedbird 24.
Speedbird 8857, squawk 2167.
2167, speedbird 8857.
8857, correct, QNH 1021.
QNH 1021, speedbird 8857.
Foxtrot, Golf Hotel, Scottish.
Foxtrot Hotel, go ahead.
Foxtrot, Golf Hotel, Edmonton, what runway and approach type you're under.
Yep, thank you for your information. 1019 at QNH, could be the winds, and request runway 0708.
Foxtrot Golf Hotel, Roger, report inbound, runway 08.
Roger that, runway 08, Foxtrot Hotel.
Rhino 7 Delta X-ray, London's offline, Unicom 122.1, over, bye.
Thanks for the service, Unicom 1238, bye-bye, Rhino 7 Delta X-ray.
Jersey, hit 9.
So we'll give ourselves our final cruise. 3-3 set once, set twice, 3 times. Sorry about the overlay. I have a feeling it just isn't updating. Oh no, maybe it is. It's just a little bit. Okay, so there's a little bit of a lag. By the looks of things. A bit of traffic. 20 odd miles ahead of us. Let's see who that is on the old VATSIM radar. Oh, maybe that's Pirate 22 going left to right. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that's Speedbird 84 Delta Mike. Yeah, that's more like him. And I guess he's heading down towards Dublin. Heathrow to Dublin. A39. Good for him. As they said, London is offline. Stansted is offline. Bit of a shame, really. So yeah, I thought this was a cool little overlay given by... I don't think we're that far through the route, are we? 2242, no, was it last time? I can understand there's a bit of a lag in the... it pulls that information from VATSIM. Certainly seems to be a bit buggy for me anyway. Oh no, so I guess it doesn't date. I'll have to do some troubleshooting with that, because I like it. I think it's a nice clean little overlay. So we were 4 minutes late, and I think we're still 4 minutes late. Should have been 01 in Cobb. Looks like we're going to be 05. Our climb should have taken 15 minutes, which is not far off, because of course we did get that delayed turn and that delayed climb. We were held at 5 due to the comms issues. That's the sort of fun that you don't get if you fly offline. Back angle to 10 as we approach 300, last 10 check, 4 pumps. Diff 7.2, cabins at 6, and climbing steadily. So Manchester, Gatwick, East Mids and Dublin have all got approach. A couple have got tower and ground, but not where we're going. Anyway, this is us over in Cobb. 05 with 4.3. don't think VAMSys will output a stream on this, which is a shame. Could that maybe I'll suggest it. That would be really good. projectFLY also does the same sort of thing,
1,000 to go.
but you have to pay, and I don't know if you have to pay for that, and it was that would be the only feature that I would use, and it wasn't something that I was convinced was working, and they don't tell you if it is, so yeah. Oh, another forumite, right, vRYR. I hope I've said that right, thanks very much. I do try and help, it doesn't always seem it. Sometimes the banter is lost in translation, but thanks for joining in, and thanks for saying that the help was appreciated. I don't think it was you that was on the receiving end of the help, but hey, we can only try. It would be a real shame if people gave up trying to get the mod working. It is a bit of a pain once you know, the first time out, and us seasoned hands seem to think it's easy. So yeah, it's very kind of you to say. Thanks very much. And yeah, there's so much to learn, especially if even if you've got real flight experience, it's very, very different if you don't learn by picking up what's going on. It's a very different environment, and it's a very well modelled aeroplane. So, you know, I'm sure plenty of people will look at this and laugh and go, well, it's just flying a computer. It's a pretty darn accurate representation of the real aeroplane. And yes, you are only flying the computer, so nobody's going to die if you screw up, but it can still bite you, and it's still, especially when you're flying online, it's still enough to keep my brain operating in 4 dimensions. But like I say, it's not a one-click job to get it installed, which is a real shame. It'd be nice if somebody developed an installer that did everything, but that just isn't how it is. So you have to put the effort in, and it's certainly worth it. And then once you've got it working, assuming that you have, you've then got to try and operate the damn thing. Flying it is relatively easy. I'm sure if anyone's watching that's seen the VFR trips, pitch and power equals performance, and left and right give you a heading. Timer gives you a stopwatch, and you can operate the airplane quite happily. You can fly the airplane quite happily, but operating it is another question altogether, and there's a reason why the real ones have got type ratings. So yes, it is a challenge, and I suppose you could have a 6-month course to get people from zero into this. So yeah, I would just hate to see somebody put off because it was a bit too much of a challenge. Lots of individual small bugs or issues that they face can completely put them off. There are other people, of course, that the requests that they make are a bit unreasonable, and maybe they should be put off. But we'll reserve judgment on that for now. But thanks, appreciate it. Anyway, we've got top of descent, so I don't think that will change much with the arrival, and we'll have a look at the charts and start thinking about our arrival. Learning one step at a time is really, really difficult. It really is, especially if your mind is... There are so many things, so many questions, so many tutorials online. I never badge anything I do as a tutorial because it's just not comprehensive enough, but some people do, and they're quite frankly terrible. If you learn by just repeating the same flight over and over, you don't know why you're doing something. So it is a real challenge unless somebody explains it to learn it, and you've got to learn through lots of resources and piece by piece, which is of course very difficult. So congrats for doing that, and well done. And yeah, I've flown in a fixed base sim, and it certainly does help, although it is very different being sat there. And I'm sure actually this would probably prepare you a lot better if you were in VR. I think it's very good in VR. I don't use VR, maybe I will one day. Almost got VR last year or so, but bottled it in the end. So, Laurel 5 Fox is us, and thanks for the stub as well, really appreciate it. And, as always, just feel free, just like you, I'm not a 7.3 pilot, I have a PPL, I've got some instructional experience as well, and some stutters by the looks of things there. Let's get back on, get the frame rate up, just keep an eye on that. I don't know everything, and I've picked up a lot from tutorials online, FCOM, ops manuals, etc. So feel free to come back with questions. I can hoof it about the sky, but I'm by no means perfect. There's a massive gradient of abilities in SimWorld though. So I'm just going to keep that up because it did feel like there was a little bit of a stutter, and I have turned up the scenery because it did seem to be running really well without it. As you can see, that's starting to hit the frames now, so we'll see how we get on. I might have to turn it down, which will be a shame. Let's pop that there so we can still see those, and I still have ice here because that terrifies me. The only times I've crashed in this aeroplane have been due to ice. Badly modelled, I would say. So, there is our arrival. We will be going to Barquay and into Laurel. Yeah, there's those dips again. Hopefully VATSIM won't boot us. They are pretty big. As long as it's over 20 I don't mind, but those dips there. Not great. As you can see, GPU is hardly working now in Vulkan. So we've got Laurel. Oh no, it's still on the overall page, isn't it? So I will quickly get the weather off VATSIM. Just to save the time. Put the descent forecast in, that's bad form, isn't it? Other descent forecasts. 10 knots, okay, negligible, so not going to make a huge amount of difference. You can always cope with that with speed brake. Oh, I tell you, alright. Let's do things properly. We've got some traffic ahead, we'll keep an eye on that. Let's put the forecast in, 310. Does feel a bit laggy. Maybe that was a fatal mistake turning it up, although you can't see it. Never mind. We think 1019 and it still is. I think that would give us 065. Not that it really matters. 1350 Zulu. And whether it's 0905. 5,000 meters in BRYR, mist. Overcast at 700 feet. Temperature 10. 2.9er, so there is a risk of freezing. 1019. I told you it was sketchy here. Our alternate is Manchester to try and get us away from this. What have we got coming the other way? Weird. Seeing anything on the radar. So it was that one. Oh, it could be Cessna 700. Have a look. Where's that going to be? Is Oh, 9 o'clock. Can't see it, never mind. So, descent forecasts. Seven, 1-1. 200 is 232. 15, 253. 6. Standard arrival. It's so we got the option ILS or the RNAV. Could we do the RMP to 04? Allegedly, yes. So we've got a 700-foot cloud base. Oh, that's probably our contrail, isn't it? So initial approach 04 from Laurel. Might make a difference, but it didn't. Let's load up both of these approaches. So it's still only Cat 1, so this is not Autoland territory. So I'll load that one up, and we'll have a look at the RMP as well. And then of course for the airports, you need to read through the briefings, arrivals, and I'm just going to pop that there, and stats. There's the aerodrome. We will be rolling off. Quebec Romeo is ideal, actually. Take us a little bit further down. There's the airplane slowing, so hardware throttles to idle. And we need to have a look at the initial part of the arrival to see what our descent is like. Of course, we should have put all of these in. We are going to be going to Rugby, so let's set 200. The performance once we pop the rest of the data in, as you can see, I've got behind, just chatting for so long. Even this is a relatively short sector. Those will be in anyway, and of course in reality you need to check all those waypoints, make sure it's in correctly, make sure the restrictions are in correctly, but nobody's online and nobody's going to die, so you can afford to be a little bit slapdash. So missed 625, let's put Parkway down there. If we do, you could set up Brookman's Park to fly inbound to that radial, potentially if you were going to hold as well. So that's 091 inbound. It's picking up the VOR already. And then, as it says here, without radar control, well, we do not have radar control. Now that's interesting. So it's given us Laurel, but Brookman's Park isn't US. Oh no, ASCII is when Brookman's Park is US. Either way, it's the same point. And that's what we're going to be doing. So we'll be inbound, go round, come round, left turn, right turn, inbound to 6.6. 6.6 for ILS, yes. 6.6, 2.5 takes us in with 200 foot. Remember the cloud base is 700, but even the RMP gives us 650. You might think, oh, that's close, but that's 318 above the ground. So even that's absolutely fine. I don't know what they'd be using in real life. I assume they would be using the ILS just in case. The weather deteriorates. Looking at the forecast, it's due to be tempo 7,000, but it is going to turn to fog later tonight. Evening cruise. Let's check the descent. Pumps are on. There's the airplane descending. Cabin out anyway. Lost the 300, bank angle back to 25. So, I think we might as well do the ILS for 04 via Laurel. Check those legs. So, that's interesting. That has gone completely wrong, Clippy. So I think we want to take that back up. Yeah. It's duplicated the route again. Steep descent. Should be able to manage all of that. So 0.4 off of our current weight. It's a 61.5. At 5. That was 10. Okay, just 1019. Flap 30 because we don't need to scream to a stop. It's going to be 61.5 tons on landing, and we will fly that full arrival. Won't take any shortcuts or anything because we've got no ATC online. And order brake 2 should roll us out nice and sensibly. 149, 144 plus 5, perfect. Order brake 2. Course checked. Down we go. And Rugby is there at 200. Keep going down 150 for Clippy. You can see that is ever so slightly different because we've got that little level segment there, and there's quite a few ways you could get rid of all that. We could use alt into vent to get rid of the restriction, and we then should be, I think, a little bit low on profile. Yes, there we are. We could just use vertical speed to peg the green banana, see how we get on. And you can see that that's coming back in. There was a question on Facebook about what is that indicator, but you can see there we are low and that's coming back in. So that indicates the direction to fly to regain correct path, the VNAV descent. Yeah, you're definitely right. There's a lot of words, acronyms, and you know the FCOM is not a particularly friendly document to read, but it does explain some of those things with quite a bit of detail. And PFD, primary flight display, ND navigation display. Yeah, like you say, it is daunting, but if you want to get into it, you want to fly it, then you've got to learn. And I think people underestimate the amount. It's very difficult to know what your own knowledge is, and there's no real formal tutorials, although there are some really good ones. Like I said, I wouldn't necessarily call mine tutorials. I've done some tutorials for simple things like engine starts, but you should be able to pick things up from what I do that should be relatively accurate. and correct. Virtual Ryanair have got a really good ops manual which shows you what to do and how to fly some manoeuvres. Well, it doesn't tell you how to fly them, but at least how to set up for them. And there are some proper tutorials, and yeah, at least with streams people can jump in and engage. I started recording flights and then I started streaming because why waste my own hard drive space when I can take up YouTube's? And it's just a great way of seeing where you may or may not have got wrong, and it's a good way of getting other people to look and help you out as well. So I'd certainly recommend people record their own flights to see where they've gone potentially wrong, where they could have gone better. And it's good for troubleshooting as well. I haven't stepped through the route, which is something that we should do. Again, nobody's going to die in the sim. We are expecting ILS, so let's set those minimums. We don't set 200, we don't set the height or barrow, which is RA minimums. It's still a Cat 1 ILS, so 532 is our decision. Wrong one. So it's a set. We are gradually regaining path, and we have actually got quite a long level segment. So the only reason I took that restriction out was just to make the descent a little bit smoother. We're not. We're pretty much over, you know, just after Rugby, so it still keeps us on the SID. These are not mandatory restrictions; they're just descent planning estimates, but that's pretty much all we can go on. It's going to be a little bit steep from Laurel 6000. We'll follow all those restrictions. Actually, give me 4 outbound on track, so let's set that ready for the approach. To a wisp of cloud, I am going to set 042 again. Still only a single channel approach. This is not auto land weather. 105 for the ILS.
General traffic has been 835 whiskey with topic 1 X-ray for ILS runway 09 and left.
Did that move? Did I move that again? Right. So we've still got no ATC online. 04205. I suppose we can put it. No, it really is. Cat 2, Cat 3 weather. We'll see. End up a bit below profile, that's fine. Having a look. 091, of course we go over quite high and we come back round at 6. Mandatory 3, a level segment to lose some speed. 2.5, again another platform. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Put the runway in. It's going to be 5 miles IMC for gear down configure, 10 mile flap 1 ring. I'm going to continue us down to 10,000 now. Go back to VNAV so that we level off. So I've set 10. The aeroplane has expected flight level 150 at Clippy, and it will hold us until this point, even though we've set 10,000. If I was to set 15.5, then the MCP would override that, and the aircraft would respect it. Not seeing the weather that is being reported. It is solid overcast outside my window in London. So it's going on active sky. Broken at 13. Then look it. Live weather. Just check the options for download interval. 15 minutes. Do we want 10 minutes or 5 minutes? 10's probably reasonable, isn't it? Well, that's more like it. Maybe I do need to get it to regen every 5 minutes. Let's see how we get on with 10. Phew. I thought it was going to be far too nice an approach. So, there's our twizzle round in intercept down. So, I think we can get the pack sat down. I've reapplied the shadow fix, changing all those shadow maps to 8192. Does look a bit better, still not perfect though. That does look pretty good though. Although maybe not quite accurate. The cabin in the way. Two degrees of drift, not a huge amount, but the wind is quite light. Look on the radar and see going on in London. Not a lot he throws on. Nothing at Stansted. We'll start making calls once we're a little bit closer. Certainly once we descend from this level, people know. So Bombo is our decel point. It's only 250 max. We'll just see how VNav gets on. Don't want to intervene too much, just to see how it's behaving at the moment. There we go, there's the profile coming back in. There's the aeroplane pitching for it. So our next cleared would probably be 6,000. I'm going to leave 10 set while there's no ATC online because that'll give us a warning for our speed check and to pop the lights on. It's really easy to forget things like that when there's no ATC online. So we shouldn't be picking up ISX at all because I have got it disabled. So let's recycle the nav. X-plane is a bit squiffy when it comes to the ILSs. So you can't specify it either, so sometimes you'll be landing with a tailwind even though it has and it'll turn off the wrong one, so you can't always use that, which is why it is useful. Don't know what is. Usually cycling that fixes it, but DME is correct, but the ident is completely incorrect. It's for the other end. Yes, so we've got a little bit of tailwind here, but that should change to be coming pretty much from a headwind where we are at the moment on approach, so a little bit more of a crosswind. 0905, so pretty light, hardly anything to speak about. And we'll need anti-ice, as it is only 10 degrees on the ground, so it's probably going to be a little bit cooler up above that, unless there's an inversion, which doesn't look like there is. London traffic, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, passing overhead Bombo 12, flight level 120, descending 6,000 feet, Laurel 5 Foxtrot for Stansted. So traffic announcements are a little weird. Oh, no curve there. I think the aeroplane will fly the curve though. I think. That may have been when I had to take it out. Because I couldn't do that one. You could recreate that point. But the route was recreated again. That's a bug that's crept up on me quite a few times. So I'm going to try and speed intervent here with a little bit of speed brake. Just because the speed limit was 250, I'd have preferred to have been at 240. And we should go to 240 once we're below 10. Still pretty much on profile. But of course the aeroplane is now prioritising speed, so profile's getting a little bit ahead of away from us. Get the lights on early. Phone's on silent. Diff pressure's coming down. Packs are sat down. Let's continue down to 6. 1019. So we are descending to an altitude. Take speed intervent off in a moment, which should keep it the same. There's our turn. It does. Enough path, which we might, I thought we might dive for it. So we'll see, airplane should fly that. It can't make a completely tight turn like that anyway, so even if it just goes direct, it might sort of overshoot, but we can finesse that with a little double tap. It is irritating. Still nothing online, so we'll just make traffic reports as and when we go. London traffic, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, overhead Barkway, flight level 90, descending altitude 6,000, inbound, runway 04 Stansted. And it would be nice if we didn't have to use Unicom when we were, it's difficult. It'd be nice if we had, you know, if we just use tower frequencies, etc., so we don't clog up the frequency too much, but most people don't even use it for what it's designed for anyway. So there's the speed getting away from us. We are maintaining path. A little bit of speed brake. I think that path is going to deviate quite a blip as we go over Buster. As you can see, it's not a bad way of getting into these two airports, losing quite a bit of height in a relatively short space of time. Let's see what the aeroplane does. So, want to be left to 188. Trimming away in the background, yes. Look, that has gone well and truly all over the place. I am going to add power because otherwise it's going to go mental. Great, that didn't really help tell me where you are. So what I don't want is the aeroplane to go full power. Don't really want to go to speed intervent just yet. We've got some level segments to lose it. Laurel 220 below. Oh, it's done it. Is that Laurel or is that not? So don't forget that the speed window is open.
Thousand to go.
Checked. So I'm going to pop the flight switches to continuous. Get the cabin secured. 188, it's on a heading, and I suppose there isn't any drift, so it's fair enough. Go. Interesting. So the airplane will respect at 6,000. The ILS is the issue for me, so thanks X-Plane. .105, so that hasn't changed. It's now 144 left turn. Stands to traffic, Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray outbound at Laurel for runway 04, estimated time arrival 10 minutes. I'll be a bit quicker than that, but whatever. So this depiction is all pretty horrible, to be honest. And we need to get back to VNav path. So that was my bad, letting the airplane get ahead of me there. Really don't need to dirty dive this. So what we do need is to intercept. The airplane is not flying the intercept. And then track outbound. So let's get some speed brake out. Get the anti-ice on. So next 200 for the final turn. So I'm going to bring that back while we can. And VNav has had its day. I'm in charge now. Which means I can't blame it on VNav anymore, so I've got to pay attention. So that 200 knots for that final turn.
Thousand to go.
Cannot do anything with that, so just go direct. Back on LNAV. That level segment will slow us down. Could have finessed that a bit, I think, but we'll stay at idle. I'm a couple of degrees off. So there we go, picking up the ILS now. Tuned, identified, correct. Set 2.5, and we'll use VS to slow to that. And we're going to go to flap 1 at this point. because that's a 200 knot turn, which is below the up speed. So, a bit of a mess. Not perfect. Terrible.
1,000 to go.
Let's get the airplane descending. So MSA is 2100, we're still above that. We don't want this turn to be that tight. Doing well here, are we? Did not follow that at all. Let's get the airplane off a little bit. And let's go early to flap 5 because I think this is going to get busy. Well, that wasn't bad timing. That wasn't bad. So on the localizer capture. Standstill traffic, Ryan S7 Delta X-ray, establishing ILS 04, 10 miles. So localizer capture. Rescued that. Put the chart up. 118 is the turn point. With flap 5 ready. There is the glide slope coming in. Approach armed. It's 10 degrees. We could technically turn the anti-ice off, but it might dip. The missed approach, straight ahead to 3. We're now hold anyway, so that doesn't make a difference. Direct to Parkway until we cross that radial. Glide slope capture, flap 5, we are already at. Good figure in a moment. And we want to be stable. Final landing config 1,000 feet above the field because we still should be IMC at that point. See, that wind is almost all across. 5 miles gear down. Flap 15 match speed. Checklist of flaps. Free brake armed, auto brake set. Gear down, 3 green. Start switch is continuous, anti-ice is on. Been cleared to land yet, do that in a moment. Pumps on, recalls checked, holding on the landing flap. Stands to traffic, Ryan S7 Delta X-ray, ILS 04, 4 miles. So, it's speed back, get the airplane set, stable, on the landing flap, 1,000 feet, landing checklist complete.
1,000.
There we go, hopefully that guy is going to hold. Calling out enough
Approaching
times.
04.
Very misty. Still doesn't quite seem to be giving it to us in trim. Bit slow.
400.
Watch that rate of descent.
Approaching minimums. 200. Minimums.
Continue.
100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Bit of a thump. Pretty sure I heard the speed brakes go up. Of course I can't check.
Sunset traffic lining up runway 04, Walker 136.
Very nice of him to wait. There's plenty of people on VATSIM who don't. 80 knots, reverse is stowed, manual braking. And we will vacate. Second high speed.
3,000 feet remaining.
Alright, bit of a sketchy vacate. That's the traffic Ryanair 7 Delta X-ray, runway vacated. Don't say clear. Let's get the airplane cleaned up.
Sunset traffic, runway 04, takeoff, Walker 136.
Ah, we know what he means. At least he's telling people what he's doing. Is more than can be said for most. There we go. I had stowed the speed brake with my controller. Should have turned those off. Anyway guys, welcome to Stansted. No pressure, there are passengers today. Yeah, they're only virtual passengers. You don't have to pay any compensation if you kill them. So, what does this say? So we've got VAMSIS saying 161 feet per minute. projectFLY said 158. I'd call that textbook, but we don't go for butter.
Sunset traffic, airborne, Walker 136.
Go for the recommended 150 feet a minute. Ryanair touchdown. I think I've only flown with them once. No, I can't remember if it was a bone shaker or not. And which apron are we going to go to? They loaded up correctly. That's looking a little bit sparse, isn't it? Oops. I think I've got a scenery issue here. I've got no terminals. Sorry about that, guys. It did take a long time to load up. I should notice. Are we still blinking? No. Strobes are off. Managed to do that. I've got these and the strobes mapped to keys, so there's a few things I can do. I've done everything. Brakes are relatively cool. Transponder's done. I'm pretty sure this is the wrong way to taxi at Stansted. I think they like you taxiing in on that one, but there's no one about. Yeah, there is. Oh. It's amazing how off-putting this is. I should have gone in there. Or just do a U-turn. Because the terminal is here and is missing. Oh no. Maybe I've just got it entirely wrong. I'm not sure the layout here is correct per the chart. Echo has got nothing. Oh, maybe it is. Just talking rubbish. Quick on the turn as well. Yeah, that's just my bad nav. The packs won't know, will they? Let's get the APU on. 5 left. Yeah, we went all the way down. Should have gone. Right, so busy checking everything else. I have to say the after landing is probably the most stressful bit for me, especially when you're online and there's ATC, because there's so much to do, you just run out of hands. So the terminals are here. I was just a lot further down than I expected. Oh well, if that's the only thing that's gone wrong today, then not bad. I think we'll go to Apron Charlie. So there's a second entry point. Nothing wrong with the scenery, just everything wrong with my brain. See, this says it's Charlie. And on Charlie, oh no, there are two sides. Shut up. I will just shut up. Oh yeah, don't forget to do the radar. You could, if you just run along the top and sort all of that out, and you're alright. But yeah, marshallers have probably got too many kids anyway, so help them out. It's cheaper than surgery. Right, 4-4 right looks like it'll do us. Let's get the lights off. I think the scenery is different. This has been updated by the looks of things. I haven't got SAM active. It's quite nice, a little bit of gate lightage. Not too sure about the markings, but whatever. Somebody's put some effort into this, haven't they? Outside to cheat because we haven't got any marshalling guidance. Do bang. Everyone that was stood up has now bit the seat in front, so from right. So we are on stand. vRYR for not doing that. That's not me being bitter, I'm taking one yet. So, APU 2 blues. One red. Engine's dead. It's well worth mapping those to buttons or switches because they are finicky to say the least. 20% N2 is what we're waiting for to get the beacon off. Just about to see it down there. Thanks very much. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for the sub, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. 20% beacon off. Ground power's available. Steps are out. Oh, P's off. Welcome to London Stansted. Fuel used there, 1.36 at each. The man from Zibo says, approach great. Oh, landing excellent. Yeah, fair enough. We did hit 1,000 feet. It might have gone over. I would really like a go around call if you go over 1,000. But hey, I'll take that. I think the landing was alright. So, here we are. Go to a very Cloudy Stansted. As always guys, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, please sub and you'll get notified when I start flying again, and I'll hopefully be doing more flights than I have been recently. If you've got any questions, please feel free to ask and I'll see if I can answer them. And until then, till the next time, thanks very much for watching. Have a great weekend. Look after yourself and see you again soon. Bye bye for now.